Hello and welcome to the Little Craft House. Today's project is a little different from normal. We're going to be using an eco-casting compound called Ecrylimer Bold. This product has been made here in Australia by a company called BRAMBLIER, and I absolutely love it because it is so easy to use. Ecrylimer Bold is a two-part mix of powder and water. Once cured, it creates a product which is similar to ceramics, which makes it perfect for creating things such as homewares. Today, I thought I would create a dish which is going to be used for some product photography. So I'm going to start by popping my mould onto a tray. This is just going to help me to be able to move it around as I need to. I decided that I want this tray to have a little bit of sparkle to it, so I'm going to add some gold leaf flakes to the mould. I was going to pop these into a nice little pattern, and then I just decided to go completely random and just pop some flakes all over the place. If you do decide to use flakes, one of the most important things to remember is that you don't want to create an air bubble underneath. So I'm just trying to press the flakes into the mould, which will hopefully eliminate those air bubbles. Some things that I love about the Ecrylimer Bold is that it is non-flammable, it's non-toxic, and it is also fast setting. When it comes to measuring out this compound, it is done by weight at a ratio of 2 parts base powder to 1 part water. To start with, I'm going to weigh out 200 grams of the base powder. I know that mixing this amount of compound isn't going to be enough for my tray, so I'm going to do a second mix up afterwards. I'm now going to weigh out the water component. So because I use 200 grams of powder, I'm going to use 100 grams of water. The water you use can be distilled water, bottled water, or even drinking water from the tap. Try to be as accurate as you can with your measurements. We're now going to slowly mix our powder into our water. Now I'm choosing not to use any coloured pigments today. If you were to use some coloured pigments, make sure that you get acrylic resin specific pigments, otherwise it doesn't always work out. Sometimes you'll find that the colours don't show, and sometimes you will find that it will affect the chemical balance of the compound, which will affect the setting times of it and also the strength of the final product. You'll need to mix your compound together for a minimum of a minute. Make sure that you get all of the compound from around the edges as well as what is stuck on your stirring stick. Once fully mixed together, it will resemble a melted ice cream consistency. You'll now have approximately 15 to 20 minutes of working time. As I mentioned earlier, I knew that I wasn't going to have enough to fill this tray, so I mixed up a second batch exactly the same. I'm going to slowly pour the mixture into my tray, and I'm just going to cover the gold foil bits first. I'm just going to speed up the filming here, just as I did it quite slowly. I'm trying not to add bubbles into the mixture as I'm applying it into the mould, and I'm also just running my spatula, my stirring stick. I'm just running that through some of the grooves just to try and encourage the bubbles to come to the surface. The final step here is to encourage any of the bubbles to come to the surface. So I do spend quite a bit of time on this. I'll tap the tray and move the mould around, just trying to bring those bubbles to the top. When you do see them start to come to the top, you can either pop them with your mixing stick or they will eventually pop by themselves as well. Now, I do have to apologise for what sounds like bears in my backyard. It is just my dogs. They are just playing. It is all fun and games and friendly. But I didn't realise as I was recording that they were making such a noise. So I'm going to leave the tray now for a minimum of 45 minutes to allow it to set. If I was using an enclosed mould, I would need to leave it longer, but as there's quite a lot of surface area on this, 45 minutes should be long enough. To check and see if our tray is ready to demould, it should feel firm and cool on the top. If it feels warm and damp, it's not ready. It should also come away easily at the sides of the mould when we pull it back. It shouldn't be sticking. Your project is still in the fragile stages, so go carefully and slowly with your demould. It would take approximately 72 hours for the product to be fully cured. Some thinner items cure faster and some of the thicker items can take a little longer. I'm going to place this on a drying rack soon to allow the air to flow freely around it, which will also help the drying and curing stages. Products like this tray don't really require a sanding, but one thing that you can do is use a potato peeler around the edge, and that will just take off any of the sharp edges. As I'm going to be using my tray for product photography, it's not going to require sealing. But if you do wish to seal your items, you can use a BRAMBLIER sealer or a clear wax to finish it off. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed learning about the eco casting compound of BRAMBLIER's Ecrylimer Bold. You can find all the items you require to complete this project from today's tutorial in our shop, The Little Craft House. And if you enjoyed this project, I'd love it if you could subscribe to my YouTube channel and also head over to my Instagram for daily inspiration and mini tutorials. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Bye!